Hello everyone, this is Rain. This is not going to be a very heavily edited video because it's just a little moment in my life that I just kind of thought was funny, and I kind of wanted to share it before I got into a bigger project, which is a video that I am currently working on. I'm getting the talk sprites and all this other stuff. I'm getting set up for it. And I figured before that came out, I'd give a little bit of a fun, silly story just to kind of get me out there a little bit, I guess. But anyways, on to the story. When I was about 16 to 17 years old, I was living in a little town in California. It's all desert, fun. And my mother took me to a little bookstore that unfortunately is closed, because I went back there, later on in life, and it's unfortunately closed down. It was like this, well, it wasn't really like a bookstore, it was more like a, kind of like Goodwill, but a lot cheaper. If anybody's been at a Goodwill, they know what I'm talking about. And while I was there, I picked up a couple of books. One of which is the one that I am going to be talking about, is The Visitor by Christopher Pike. The main reason I picked up this book was because the little blurb in the back, and also the little art inside the leaflet when you first open the book. It's these four kids just hanging around this little ghostly ball thing with like a little dragon's head and claws, and it looks like when one of the guys puts his hand on it, his hand becomes see-through to where you can see the skeleton within. And I thought it was really cool, and I thought it was going to be kind of revolving around that. Well, there is the obligatory Ouija board scene in this book, but it's not quite as dramatic in the sense that the little cover art would lead you to believe when you look at the book. But anyways, that's not the main point. I got it because of that, and then I read it, and certain scenes in this book really made my tummy turn, and made me really glad that I didn't eat cookies before reading it, because they would have probably been upchucked all over this book and just totally ruined it forever and a day. But anyways, so I read it. I kept it with me for a while, and I even tried typing up some of it, so I could show my friends just kind of how screwed up this book is without having to send them the copy, because they all lived in different states. They still do. Still haven't met them. It's been years. But anyways, so after a while I tried doing that, and I was just like, I don't want to get to that scene anymore. I don't really want this in my collection anymore. So I sold it to a bookstore that was open, or I either sold it or I gave it away to somebody. I don't remember how it occurred, because it's been years since this little thing happened. I don't even remember if I got rid of it before I moved to Wyoming or after I moved there. So yeah, it's kind of been a while. But anyways, on to the weird part. This book is back in my possession, and it's the same copy I got rid of. I went into a store and I saw it on a shelf, and I was like, even though I remember it turning my tummy and I didn't really want to read it again, I thought, what the heck, it was the first time I ever experienced that in my life, and I kind of wanted to, buy it for that kind of memory. So I take it up there, and the lady rings it up, and I noticed that my name was at the top of the page where the little price tag was, where she rung it up. And I'm just like, I got rid of this copy, and now it's coming back to me? It's like a little friggin' boomerang, and this had been years since I had gotten rid of the book. So I'm just sitting there like, how the heck did I get that lucky to buy a copy of a book I already had in my possession at one time? I mean, that is crazy. And I'm just sitting there going, how does that happen? It's like, how often does that happen where you got rid of a book and you decide one day, hey, you see it on a shelf and you want to buy it again, and you find out that it's the exact same copy you had gotten rid of. Wasn't any other copy. It was the particular copy you got rid of, and you know for a fact that it was that particular copy because of some telltale sign, like maybe you bent certain pages in it enough times, or like in the case of me, you wrote your little name in it because you had that OCD effect of childhood to mark everything as yours. It's like, mine. My name's on it. That means it's mine. And it was just so crazy. And I decided that I kind of wanted to share it because I was watching some Stephen King videos, and it got me thinking about, my first experiences reading Pet Sematary. And then it kind of led me into thinking, hey, there's this one little book that I read, this little novella, a while ago. And it is a novella. It's not a short story, nor is it a full-on novel, because it's only like the typical length of a novella, which is between 150 to 200 pages long. And yeah, it was just kind of cool. It's just kind of weird that the marketing for this book is a little weird, because if I can find a similar cover for this on the internet, you can see why. Because when you read the blurb on the back and you read the little, because a lot of books have that little tagline at the bottom, it's like, they did not invite him. It's like, what? So you think it's going to be like this little mystery novel in a way, or like this revolving around ghosts. But in actuality, it's not revolving around ghosts, nor is it a mystery. It's revolving around aliens. Yes, aliens. Particularly two of them being reincarnated in human bodies, and this other one that was sent to retrieve them. Although he did take a long time to go find them, but I guess he had to wait until, because these two particular aliens that were reincarnated as humans have been going through the same spiel century after century, decade after decade, just they meet each other, everything's all fine and dandy, and then one or the other dies, and shenanigans ensue after that. And it's just really weird. Yeah, and the way it ends is also kind of weird. It's a really weird story. I mean, it's interesting, but it's also weird, and it gets a little graphic in a particular spot when her dead boyfriend is brought back to life. It gets really graphic about what a embalmed corpse looks like after 3 months in the ground. And I'm like, yay, thank you for giving me that imagery. And that has stuck with me for years. The rest of the story, not so much, like the events leading up to it. You know, like the little seance area. I'm like, I can't even remember most of the characters' names. I just remember the fact that this chick finds an alien bringing back a dead fox, and it gets the idea, oh, I'll make him bring my dead boyfriend back. Of course, you know, the alien's like, no, this is bad. This will end terribly. And she keeps pushing and pushing and pushing, and then finally he gives in, and either he dies or he just loses the ability to hold the human form and just kind of poofs. I don't remember exactly what happens. And her boyfriend's back, and she's just like, yay! Even though it's like such a gross, disgusting thing, and she's just like so happy despite the fact, and she kidnaps one of the girls from her school to siphon blood from her into her boyfriend to ease the pain that he's going through from being brought back to life after 3 months in the ground. Yeah, that works out pleasantly. I'm like, why do people do this? It's like, why are there so many stories revolved around this, and why do I read so many of them? Because it never turns out right. The dead should just be left where they are. I don't care if it's your boyfriend, your son, your wife, whatever, your dog, your cat. Just leave them there. It never turns out right, except for in the case of Frankenweenie. This is like the only one that actually has a happy ending. All the other ones, it's just like, ugh, disgusting, terrifying, and it's just like, why? Just leave them where they are. They're in the ground now. Just leave them there. It works. You know, it's very rude to wake the dead. And a lot of times they are not happy and they want to kill you. In the case of her boyfriend, on the other hand, he was just in so much pain at being brought back to life after being dead for 3 months, and also the fact that he got shot through the skull. So, yeah, I'm like, I imagine there's some brain damage in there too. Kind of slowing that process down. But yeah, it's a really weird book, and that was just a really weird, funny thing that it basically came back into my possession like a boomerang. But yeah, if you like this video, you know, rate it, thumbs up, whatever, since YouTube does this weird thing where they're like, let's be like Facebook. Only there's no emojis going with it. I don't know why they did that. It's kind of, you know, disingenuous. It's like, because there's times where you don't like, and there's times you don't dislike videos. It's like, sometimes you just think they're, like, really sloppy, and likes and dislikes just don't really convey that as well as, like, a little rating system. It's like, bring the rating system back, YouTube. I missed that. Yeah, I'm one of those people that was around during the time when it was actually little 5-star ratings. Boy, am I old. Gosh. So many things that a lot of young people don't realize, and you just feel old for it. At least I'm not going on about rotary phones. I would hate to be going that far back into history. But if you like the video, give a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and let me know what you think. And if you would like to see, you know, more of these little funsy anecdotal stories of random book happenings, and maybe share some of yours in the comments. Alright, see you later. Bye.